Woo, let's go. We don't do that no more. That lifestyle. Oh no, go. We shut it down. Oh, big smoke. I'm a queen and you already know that we your rock is the temple, so why you so loose with it? Look at the way you be dressing. Tell her all the boys come get it. Let me talk to you for a minute. Come and get some teaching. I'm wondering, is it attention you seeking? That's why the photos you be linking. Do you like yourself if you do like to do the things that you do? Like sleeping with me that you know they ain't gonna commit to you redundant. Second will be interrupted, it really ain't healthy for you. And you out here looking for love in all the wrong places too. Gotta stop it. Doing whatever, whenever, whoever you know it ain't clever. We need to do better. Oh no, I can't let you. Set up a lifestyle, not like we need to bear real quick, take a stand. It's time that we end this destruction. I'm killing it in the discussion. We don't do that no more. That lifestyle. Oh no, go. We shut it down. Oh, big smoke. I'm a queen and you already know that we I mean, no bad. I'm a beautiful beast. Eat up that God life. Very respected queen. He made me beautifully, wonderfully in his intimacy. That's why when I come through, you can't tell me a thing. They say she arrogant. Now I'm just confident. You said you married, bruh. I'm Hamilton. You can't touch this. I can't be your side chick. What Bobby gone for me? On my Shanae. I'm such a lady. Don't try to play me. Don't save her. Jesus already saved me. Transform, new creature. Don't think the same way. I keep it cute, classy, and I'm glad he changed me. He made me anti. We don't do that no more. That lifestyle. Oh no, go. We shut it down. Oh, big smoke. I'm a queen and you already know that we and we ain't been in no man of group. I will go back to the freakiness. And every other year I ain't pregnant. And I'm gonna take a man that's a bad shit. Like literally, don't do that bad shit. Don't wanna be the girl that's a savage. I wanna be fit for marriage now. Got a whole lot of work, so I gotta keep building on your county franchise. If I gotta go hard against the grain, I cannot be the same on the inside. If you got better, you can make change. Put some respect on your last name. Keep them locked up when they in here. And make them go ham for the rest. I don't know what you been told, but we can't take you to his home. His mama and his daddy won't be like, oh no, she got to go. Ladies, get your money. Always looking her name. You can give them kisses, but just don't give up that monkey. We don't do that no more. That lifestyle. Oh no, go. We shut it down. Oh, big smoke. I'm a queen and you already know that we Hey, what y'all know about that anti-thought? Y'all don't know what time it is, but guess what? Tonight, all things authentic is back. Yes, and look at what I have with me. I have a panel of men folk, y'all. Men folk. And the interesting thing about tonight is that we're talking about money. Y'all, we talking about borrowing money, and I got men folk on here. And y'all know most men folk is tight on the dollar, honey. But guess what? Tonight, we're going to talk about borrowing money. in a different light. So tonight's subtopic is borrow from who, check in if you want to learn how to borrow money. Invite your friends, share the live. If you're not watching it live, share it again and again and again after the show. But let's go ahead and introduce our panel for tonight. First up, we have.
Hi, this is Frank. I'm Frank. I'm CEO from SkyIV Records, representing Northwest Atlanta. We represent artists from southern tip of Florida all the way to Virginia.
Hey, lit, lit, lit. And who do I have in that black? Is that a Bills or bullshit shirt that I see?
Yes, it is. Hello, everyone. I'm DJ Encore, Mr. Bill the Bullshit. Uh, let's go.
All right. And finally, coming to the ring at 6 foot, I don't know, but yeah.
Hey man, it's your boy Chef Chew Heflin in the building, man. I specialize in cooking in the kitchen, water whipping, and double dicking, no penetration. You know what I'm saying? Creating financial strategies, Georgia Tech grad, software engineer. We just walked away from corporate America recently. Been a long journey into a world of serial entrepreneurship. Here to goddamn drop some knowledge. Get it.
All right. All right. So, guys, all right. Now, listen up. You know, I'm going to give you some context before the gentlemen jump in because tonight I'm going to let the guys, I am going to stay in my 20th century position, and I am going to let the gentleman take the lead. However, I want to make sure that I let you know all things authentic will always feature 21st century trending topics, but also conversations about real life happening. So, in a nutshell, this is a virtual talk show with a down home feel, and I invite you into my living room so that we can talk like mama, grandma, grandpa, and granddaddy and daddy used to do. So let's talk about investing today. Now, investing is how you make your money grow or appreciate to gain a financial return, right? And you can increase your money by investing in many different ways stocks and bonds, real estate, collectibles, and businesses. But investing on a grander scale pretty much means that you're basically postponing like your current consumption in order to pursue an activity with greater benefits in the future. So basically, after a period of time, you should get more money than you put in due to the interest. All right. In order to truly invest, though, you got to do what? You got to take some risk. Now, when you're taking risks, you have to make sure that you're in a position to be able to somewhat sustain yourself in case you can't bounce all the way back from that risk. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So that's what
Wait.
we're talking about two forms of credit bank loans and credit cards. But tonight, we're not going to take it there because we talked about credit cards last week. Tonight, we're talking about borrowing money. And this conversation is going to center around the difference between banks and credit unions as well as borrowing from yourself. Chef, go ahead.
Well, one of the things we want to say, for those of you who have been, fortunate enough to get a different kind of job that comes with like retirement plan benefits, these are options that you may be able to explore. So, for example, if you're familiar with the terms of 401k or having your own individual retirement account, you may be familiar with this world. Whereas most IRAs, whether they be a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, you're not able to take out loans. You can make withdrawals, but they usually come with a penalty. But here, those of you who do have 401ks at your current organization, you may be able to call your institution. And one of the things that they may or may not offer is a loan that you can take out on your 401k established funds. And by withdrawing it from there, it's not a withdrawal. You're currently working there. It's basically going to be a loan that you can take out. And the best part about this is one of your best options if it's available, is it's usually going to be at a 0% interest rate. So you don't have to pay any interest. It's not going to cost you any money to use your own money because basically you're leveraging what you've already set aside for the future. And if they let you take out a loan on it, what you'll typically do is take a loan out So let's say you took out a loan of up to, let's say $10,000. One of the loans I had at once before, they allow you to determine how you want to pay that back initially. So day one, it'll be an option that comes out of your check. So let's say you want to pay it back in 10 weeks, it'll be like a bi-weekly amount of 2,000. So it'll come out however you set it. And that option is you're going to be at 0% interest, one of the most attractive interest rates if you're looking at how much you're paying overall. Outside of your retirement accounts, you can take, when you take out a loan anywhere else, even if it's a friend, 9 times out of 10, you got to pay back some interest. If you're borrowing from a bank or a small business loan, those are when your credit come into play, so that you can, they'll let you know what interest rate they're offering, but it's based on credit and you don't actually know it's a variable rate. But borrowing out of your 401k in particular is going to be one of those 0% interest rates where you're not going to lose any additional money. I think we can jump off from that one.
Thank you, and thank you for that information. And guys, so listen, that's why tonight's subtopic is borrow from who, because you can always borrow from yourself if you're in that position. So, okay, Frank, I want to come to you because you have a unique situation. Not only are you an entrepreneur, but you also work for a federal agency and you're a vet. Tell us a little bit about what that looks like relative to it. I'm going to load you up. Tell us what that looks like relative to making purchases, big purchases, homes, cars, investing, but also that borrowing piece.
All right. I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off what the chef said, because he hit on some high notes, and then we'll move from that.
Okay.
Everything he said was on point, so I'm gonna jump on that. Sometimes that IRA or that 401k in particular, sometimes you do pay a small interest back. Most times he's right, is at 0%. However, still the positive on a small interest is you still paying yourself the interest. So even if it's a small interest rate, you're paying yourself back that interest rate, and it's still your money. So you're paying yourself your money anyway. I would recommend to borrow, if you had a short-term loan, to borrow off your own money at this point anyway. So yeah, that's great. Yes, you talked about, and now when we skip to the military, I am retired Navy vet. I did 20 years. That's great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The VA loan is different when it comes to buy houses. All right. A lot of people, of course, you need a credit rating to buy a house if you're going to take a loan. All right. Some positives on that VA loan is not only do you have a 0% down payment policy, it's a lot of other things that's built into that loan. Okay. For the first 5 years, it's what they call a PMI, which is a basic. What the PMI is basically insurance that you won't default on the loan. So you have to pay that default insurance. Okay. Being that loan, the VA loan is basically backed by the government. That's something that doesn't go into that loan. So your down payment or your premiums are a lot lower. And of course, because the loan is guaranteed, you're basically guaranteed to get the home of your choice.
Okay.
Some other things, because I'm not only just a vet, I'm a disabled vet. So some other things that's built in to being a disabled vet. If you're 100% disabled as a veteran in Georgia, state of Georgia, you don't pay taxes on your home. So the taxes that goes into that loan, that you pay maybe $300-400 a month, now that's cut down off your loan as well. So it's a lot of things that's built into being, and a lot of positives about being a vet. There's a lot of negatives that go into it too, but we won't talk about that today.
Okay.
Positives is, the loan is great. And that's really about it with that.
So Frank, I want you to expand a little bit further. So thank you. So guys, if you're out there and you are currently in the military, I hope you're checking in, because a lot of times I think our younger guys, that are just going in, they don't even know what some of the perks are. They don't even know that they need to start preparing themselves now so that when they get out, they'll have a decent credit score and they can get that, decent home. Because houses appreciate, cars depreciate. Like, come on now. All right, but Frank, before we move to Josh, also, I would like for you to talk a little bit about what borrowing looks like as a business owner, particularly in the entertainment industry.
Huh. Well, it's not really that different. You know what I mean? When you go into a traditional bank, they still want to see a solid business plan. And in the business of music, like we do, we give away music for free. Basically, it's for free. So if you don't have a solid business plan where you can show that you're going to generate some type of revenue, it's going to be a little hard to borrow. So really, it's based on your plan. And it's based on, you have to build a plan that's based on generating revenue other than music. You see what I'm saying? Because it has to be other than music, because you can't go in with a solid plan and say, yes, I'm gonna sell 1 million records, I'm gonna get this amount, when your music is free.
Okay. All right, so guys, one thing before we move to Josh, one thing I want to talk about, you notice that Frank said bank. I think we need to distinguish between banks and credit unions, because I really want you to understand a little bit about that. And that was another part of tonight. So let's talk a little bit about terminology. So when you go into a bank, you're an account holder. You have a savings account, a checking account, or you can get CODs, certificates of deposit. Now, when you go into a credit union, you are a member and you get a share account, which would be the bank savings account, a share draft account, which would be the bank's checking account, and credit unions have what's called share term certificates. Same difference. But this is what I want you to understand. So remember what I said. At a bank, you're an account holder. But at a credit union, you're a member, right? So at the credit union, you're a member of something, meaning what? If you're a member of something, you're a part of it, right? So you're putting your money in there, your money is a part of it. It is with the bank too, but it's a little bit different. And the primary difference between the bank and the credit union really is their tax status. A bank is a for-profit financial institution, whereas a credit union is a non-profit. And it's so interesting that you're like, it's still a bank, but it's not for profit. You will often find more of your credit unions participating in more community events. They have a lot more give back events than banks. Why? Because banks are generally what? They're corporations. They're almost like your Chick-fil-A's, your franchises. They got to go to corporate to get answers for whether they can do stuff. And since the credit unions are nonprofit, they can return their earnings back to you in the form of higher interest rates on saving products. So for me, and guys, I'm going to ask you, and Josh, you're going to be the first one to answer this question. My question is going to be bank or credit union? Bank or credit union? So Josh, let's talk about that. What do you prefer, in your professional opinion, bank or credit union?
Well, from my experience, credit union all day. As far as with banks, especially as far as with our people, we shouldn't, deal with banks like that, because at the same time, let me see, Wells Fargo. Look how many times they changed their name over the years, and that was due to illegal practices in which they have done, on a continuous basis, and majority of our people still continue to bank with them. They had this thing called fractional reserve banking, in which the government gave banks the permission to lend out money or as far as use our money to gamble on. And also, they're also supposed to use at least, I think it's, don't misquote me. I know it's in the millions in which they're supposed to contribute that into the community, and banks don't do that.
Mm.
They don't do that. Well, I mean, you can look around the hood and don't see it. But in the well-off areas, you can see that. So credit union all day. That's only who I deal with now. I learned from the bank aspect. They're not for that. Yeah.
Okay. And so the other thing, and Josh, thank you so much. I think the other thing that we have to, when we think about just what you said, how the banks often don't put back in the community, but you often see the credit unions giving back to the community. Banks are required by law to have a board of directors. And if you know anything about a board of directors, that board of directors makes decisions in the best interest of the stockholders of the bank. Now, they don't necessarily have the decision making power for the bank per se, but they do make decisions in the best interest of the stockholders, and understand that. Whereas credit unions, basically, if you or I belong to a credit union, we could sit on their board because the credit union's board is made up of elected members. So people that, have accounts at that credit union. So I definitely value your input and thank you so much for that. So, Chef, I'm going to come back to you. Bank or credit union? What's your preference?
I mean, honestly, I need to move over to the credit union, and I'm familiar with some of the benefits, but you just dropped some knowledge on me. But I mean, since I'm still literally with the same bank account that I opened since I was 18. You know what I'm saying? With Bank of America, it's been consistent. They've been good, and the loyalty's been there. I haven't had any issues with them. I had when I was younger, my dad had a Wachovia account. And then they got moved over to Wells Fargo. I shut that down. I put all my money in. I'm hearing that it's dope, but I put all my money. Like I literally still have the same checkbook and deposit slips from 2006. You know what I'm talking about? So I ain't no pressure. At one point I wanted to go to a I wanted to go to the credit union. I don't know what happened. I just haven't been. I just haven't had any problems with my money being in one place. My focus on actually knowing how to save, I invest in other institutions, but I literally just maintain that same account. And although I've spread my money across several banks for business accounts, let some close and whatnot for several reasons, like I don't fool with Wells Fargo no more. I shut that business account down. I need to reopen one. Actually, that's a decision I've been looking to make. So it's a perfect time where I got an idea where I'm probably already going to go as far as a credit union over a bank. So decision credit union, but look, at the same time, I'm still with the same bank that's been good. I mean, I haven't had any problem. I think the big benefit to having that big bank though is they're available everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just more availability when you travel across at least the U.S. So Bank of America is in a lot of places. I don't have to worry about ATM fees, but I know some credit unions actually offer, like they don't deal with that. Yeah, they don't really charge them fees. There's a lot of benefits. So my next bank account definitely gonna be a credit union bank.
Absolutely. See, guys, this is what it's about. It's about us coming together, having conscious conversations, dialoguing right in the living room. These are the things that it's my hope that you guys out there watching will in turn go in your living room, sit down with your children. I don't care if they're grown, I don't care if they're 5, 6, and 7 years old. Start to talk to them about the importance of saving and investing. That's what this platform is all about. All things authentic. These are real conversations. Now, I'll answer the question, then Frank, I'm going to come to you. Bank or credit union? I have both. Reason because, just like Chef said, Bank of America is everywhere. However, I've had almost all of them. Wachovia, I had Wells Fargo. I had them when they both were under, each respective name. I will say this. My first bank account I had probably the day I entered this world. And my parents opened it at the colored bank. Yes, I said colored because that's what my mother would call it. And guys, that bank was bought out a couple of years ago by I think a place called Home Trust or something like that. Whatever. But it was First State Bank in Danville, Virginia. And the sad thing, and I want to just throw it out there because I think this is about being transparent. The sad thing about that bank is that I think what really caused the bank to kind of lose some of its credibility and to ultimately go under is because it stopped operating on what it was built on the premise of, right? I can remember hearing my grandmother say that her dad would go to that bank, get a loan for $20. Now listen to what I'm saying. Get a loan for $20. Now back in the 1800s, early 1900s, $20 was a lot of money. He would go get a loan for $20. However, I also remember her saying that the same loan that he would go to the black bank and get for $20, he could go and borrow from the not so brick and mortar bank, and get a loan from somebody else and really not worry about paying back as much interest. So it's like, I think that banks serve their purpose, but I think that credit unions are more like our new third cousin, extended family, way to get money, because I think that we have more say so in a credit union than we do in a bank. And that's not my opinion. It really is fact. You cannot walk into Bank of America and tell them how to run their operation. However, you can get a hold to your elected board members of your credit union, because some of them might go to church with you. You might work with some of them. You might have other things going on with some of them. You can pull them to the side and say, look, now, I got this business and I'll bring all my employees over to the credit union, but this is what I need you to lobby for. So I think that we really do need to think about credit unions, but I think that we also need to think more about establishing some of our own ancestral credit unions. Because at the end of the day, a credit union is what? Made up of members. Frank, bank or credit union?
Okay, I do have both. Disclaimer.
Uh-huh.
And I have both for a long time. I mean, I thought it was dope what Josh was saying about the credit union. That's why he with it all day. I respect that. However, I don't really see a big difference between bank operation and credit union operation. And I had both for a long time, and I still have them both, and I still use them a lot. However, I have Bank of America too, and because it's accessible everywhere, all over. I mean, not even just in the United States. You can find a Bank of America in England. You know what I'm saying? So when you're traveling, it's easy to get to. I don't really see a big difference, even when it comes to borrowing, because I've borrowed from both.
Okay.
Big difference in the process of borrowing from a bank or a credit union. And it could just be the one that I'm involved with. You know what I mean? So
possibly. Okay. So guys, I think that the biggest thing that we need to bring home tonight for everybody is that bank or credit union, you have to be responsible with your money. You have to manage your money appropriately, and that's all to it. Everyone makes choices about how to manage their money. Your personal money management choices will have a significant impact on your life. What have we talked about? We've talked about credit, right? We talked about the economical process. Chef gave you an entire crash course on process management and improvement. You need an engineer for your daily life. Trust me, right? But it's really important to develop good money habits sooner rather than later. And trust me, if I can't tell you nothing else, I can tell you that. And so, these gentlemen have pretty much given you tools that now you need to take the information that they gave you and you need to go to your living room and have a conversation with your boo, your bae, your bruh, your sis. I don't care who it is. Y'all need to start having these conversations. Because what we're talking about here, it doesn't take a long time. Look at how much ground we covered in like what, 25 minutes. 25 minutes, and look at how much ground we covered. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get each gentleman to give you some jewels to walk away with. It doesn't have to be about banks. It doesn't have to be about credit unions, but let's keep it about money smarts and financial literacy. And let's see who we're going to start with. Joshua, I think we're going to come to you first.
All right. If I have any bit of advice, especially among our people, I would say monthly, we need to discuss, finances, credit and everything like that. Even in our family reunions, in the midst of, partying and dancing and eating, there needs to be a business segment. We don't really ever take the time to let everybody feast. We have this notion, and I mean, you got a lot of particular factors that plays into it, where we stunt on each other. But imagine if we had the mind frame where everybody is on equal plane and everybody is getting that financial knowledge, financial literacy properly. If this person, if this uncle or cousin or sister, whoever, has that, then that would be the person, that would be the ambassador of the family as far as finances. Man, we could go places. So that financial literacy, financial education is very important within our people. I highly advise it on a monthly basis.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, my hat's off to you. I agree 100%. I think we definitely need to start leveraging one another with respect. With respect, because sometimes you got some of them friends and family members that they'll mess your stuff up. All right, Frank, drop some jewels on them.
All right, I'm gonna keep it on topic. Because I didn't get this out earlier. When you talk about loans in your 401k, there is a limit on that loan. All right, there's a $50,000 or was a $50,000 limit that you can take off on that loan. However, this last coronavirus bill that was just passed, they upped it to $100,000. I didn't say that earlier, but I wanted to get that out so you guys know. We had $100,000 you can borrow off your own money.
And there's no penalty. You can do it. Actually, one thing is due to Corona, right now, they've actually lifted that penalty off of all of your account. I think you can take withdrawals now with no penalty, and I think that's the same limit. But from the chef, I would say, being on the chef, and I like to, think about the next step. It's all about the preparation when it comes to the food. What are we cooking? Food in the kitchen or financial strategies. I would say have a plan, or actually write down a plan to reinvest in yourself. Because we always talk about investing in ourselves, and whether we're borrowing our money, even though that money gets paid back, you got to think the reinvestment in yourself on your 401k may be just that interest. If you're going to have to pay back interest and that interest goes to yourself, make your own money. But really the idea is to have a plan to reinvest. So even if you take out 10,000 and you make, let's say 100 bands, what are you going to do with that profit? Go ahead and have a plan for it, so you don't just piss it away in the wind. Have a plan for reinvesting. Let's say you don't make back everything that you thought you were, but you need to go ahead and put back 50% or whatever you made back to where it came, and blow it off. So have a plan so that you're not so emotionally attached to your losses. It's not the win. The wins, it's okay to be greedy when you're winning. But what you don't want to do is get into a situation where you're emotionally attached to your loss, and now you're no longer making strategic financial decisions. Everything's in basically a financial emergency. You're always trying to get that money back. I lost 10,000. What am I going to do? I'm going to go borrow here, borrow there, and you get lost in the sauce. So have a plan to reinvest in yourself, and that includes everything. Keep dropping that.
Wow. Guys, listen. See, let me tell you something. All men are not financially illiterate. Listen, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Now, full disclosure, every single man on this platform has given me financial advice, and almost all of them have supported me with putting myself in a position where I can get a return on all of my investments. Hello, somebody. And so you gotta surround yourself by men. So, ladies, I'm talking to y'all, and y'all know I will come for you. Ladies, stop trying to get that man's bag and get his strategy for how he get his bag. Listen to what I'm saying, ladies. Stop trying to get that man's bag and get the strategy on how he getting his bag. Men folk, hit these brothers up. Hit them up. Because what I watched and what I witnessed and what I know is that each one of them have a specific passion for money. But see, the difference is their passion isn't really for the money. It's for the acquisition of wealth. What? I can't hear you. Huh? Yeah, the acquisition of wealth. So see, that's why this topic and the overarching theme for this month is what's up with your bag. Because see, your bag contains green money, but their bags contains coins of all different colors. Money that y'all probably ain't never seen before. Why? Because they're not just investing in their home base, if that makes sense. But you have to truly understand the conversations that need to be had amongst friends. If you have real friends that you love without a shadow of a doubt, sit them down tonight and say, y'all, look, what's your credit looking like? Because we got to get it together. Because one thing I do know is that when you're amongst true friends, you want to see one another well off. Notice I said true friends. And all the time, your true friends are not the ones that are with you every day. Guys, all things authentic. We're spectacular tonight. Guess what? One more week, guys. One more week. Next week, we're talking about life after death. I died, but I came back. So, I want you to get ready because we're going to talk about whole life. We're going to talk about term life. But we're also going to get you ready to pre-plan your funeral services. Because I guarantee you, if you go ahead and get it out of the way now, y'all just might be able to stop some of these GoFundMe pages. Oops! Sorry, not sorry. Because the truth is the light, and you're going to live in darkness until you keep it real. Guys, all things authentic with all the three kings. We three kings of Orient are, and they truly did it tonight. So until next week, remember, all things authentic is here to bring you joy, jewels, and justice. Have a spectacular evening.